and I was on mute the entire time. Oh, the joys of technology. If you stuck with me for that first minute or so, you saw that I was talking a lot and sharing a lot of great impassioned conversation, but I was on mute. I don't know about you, but it feels like in this COVID-19 crisis that's what life feels like. We're doing a lot of activity and a lot of action. We're doing a lot of things because we're shifting how we do life, how we do school, how we do community with our friends, with our family members. But even though we're shifting all of these things, it feels like nothing is happening. These past 20 days for the month of April have felt like much more than 20. And I don't know about you, but I find myself in a place where I am tired and exhausted. I like to relate my life many times to shows and media that I watch and that I see. And one such show that I remember we watched quite often was The Deadliest Catch. Maybe you remember this show, and this was a show about a fleet or several different crab boats that would go out into the Arctic Ocean and search for crab in the middle of some very significant and dangerous waters. They would be up all night in storms and battling ice and battling the freezing temperatures in search of their goal. I always wondered what it would be like if I served on the crew of one of the ships of the Deadliest Catch. I wondered if I could make the cut. Several times over the season, they showed a greenhorn, a very new person who would come onto the ship and take part in the season, take part in the crab season. I wondered if I could make it. I don't know. Having spent the last month in this COVID-19 crisis and the isolation, the stay-at-home orders, the changes to normal life has been exhausting. I don't know how you're feeling right now. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, and maybe you're feeling tired. Maybe you're feeling isolated from your community, your friends, your family members. It's hard even to get out and the normal patterns of escape that we have. We escape to the movie theater. We escape to the shopping. We escape out into the mall or just going out to eat. Those are hard to do in these times. Well, let me encourage you tonight with a word, with a story I heard from one of my friends, and she got it from the Spieth family. And this was in essence the quote or the essence of the story, and that was this: many people say that we're all in the same boat in this COVID crisis. And the Spieth family put it this way: we're not in the same boat. We may be in the same storm. And I think that that's a true quote. We are in the same storm, the storm of COVID-19 and the response to it here in Indiana, here in the United States, but really even globally. We're in that storm of how we're hunkering down, as Governor Holcomb of Indiana puts it. We're in that storm of how do we face the circumstances and situations of educating our kids, of our financial situations and job duties, whether we shifted to working at home or whether we're still essential workers and going into the office or whether we've been laid off or furloughed. We're in the storm that has been raging around us. But we're not all in the same boat. Some of us, our boats aren't faring the storm too well. Some of us, our boats have holes in them because of job loss. Some of us have holes in our boats, or our boats smaller because we're trying to work from home. We're also trying to educate our kids with e-learning and sit down with them. We are all in the same storm at the moment, but our boats are different. Some boats you hardly notice the storm. Some boats are so big that a storm can roll through, and there's just some gradual shifting of the boat and of the deck. Other boats, the same storm that only causes mild movement in an ocean liner could capsize a small dinghy, could capsize a rowboat or a kayak. And let me tell you tonight that we recognize that we are not in the same boat. Your boat looks differently than mine, and I know that. But let me challenge you with this, that if we will come to each other's aid, if we will communicate with each other the needs that we have, if we will say, if we are in that kayak, that proverbial kayak or that proverbial rowboat in the middle of the storm, we are having financial loss or difficulty with meals. Maybe we're having challenges with teaching our students with e-learning. Let me challenge you that in the storm that we're facing, that if we come together, we can make it through. The bigger boat can help support and come to the aid of the smaller boat. The boat that has more resources or it hasn't been impacted as much by the storm can come together and help and aid. But let me tell you this, that source, that boat that might have more resources or seem to have more resources still needs the community of the smaller boat. So, as a word of encouragement tonight, let me encourage you with this. Do not, in this time, in this season, do not fail to reach out to those around you. This is a time when we can say without shame, without guilt, I need help, I need community, and this is what I need. Because we're all in this same storm together, we might find ourselves saying, I can't help. Or I'm also working on what I need to do, and so I can only provide limited resources, but that's okay. We come to each other's aid in community, and we share in what we have. My prayer is that during this time of crisis, we lay down the partisan politics, which is still happening. But we would set aside our differences that we're never going to agree 100% with each other anyways. But we set aside those differences and we really focus on the common good, the community together. So maybe you have an opportunity to reach out to someone else and say, hey, do you need help? That's one way that we can face this storm together even though we're in different boats. Maybe you are in a boat that is near to capsizing, and maybe you need to reach out to somebody else and say, SOS, send help. SOS, I need some help. Maybe it's groceries. Maybe it's tutoring for your students. Maybe it's just an adult conversation over a virtual cup of coffee. However, or whenever, if we can help, if we have the resources or capacity, we'll try. But there are other people, there are people in the same storm that are here that we can reach out for help. There's so many churches that are doing amazing, creative things to help people in this time. There are so many mental health professionals, counseling agencies that are doing things to help in this time because they recognize that even though we're in the same storm, we're in different boats and each of us need different help. So I encourage you, be somebody's help today. And I encourage you, if you need help today, reach out. That's how we're going to make it through this storm that we're all in. There will be calm waters. There will be sunny skies. There will be a return. we'll make it together. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great evening. Bye.